welcome back to the Don and Gino Real Estate and Finance Show right here in your hometown station, AM 1220 KHTS.
And remember, our goal is always to guide you to personal and financial wellness.
We're super excited to have you join us on the Don and Gino Real Estate and Finance Show. For over 8 years, we've been sharing what you need to know, want to know, should know about real estate, finance, and so much more. And with our goal of guiding you to personal financial wellness.
Actually, April 1st, not April Fool's Day, but April 1st is our 8-year anniversary,
well,
official.
We thought it was that because in fact, we're going to go see him have his celebration of life recently, unfortunately. But our mentor who set this whole thing up basically called us and said, hey, you guys are starting a radio show. We're like, no, we aren't.
Right.
He goes, yeah, you are on April 1st. We're like, oh, April Fool.
Kids,
that's funny. Yeah, no. He was legit. So now for 8 years we've had a radio show, and it's our favorite time of the week because we get to have great interviews with some of the best professionals we can find across the nation, especially here in Santa Clarita and Los Angeles County. And you can find that and all those interviews. We're talking like 2,000 interviews at donandgino.com.
Yeah, that's our hub. It's the best place to see all 8 years of the catalogs of videos, and there's so much to learn. That's probably been the best thing about this journey, is we said it's to guide you to personal and financial wellness. Well, we do that every day by the great people that we've had on the show, what we've learned about insurance, financial planning,
estate planning, insurance planning,
divorce,
college planning, divorce, bankruptcy, you name it. And what's kind of cool is these are going to start getting cataloged even more for you from our guest's daughter. Megan's going to start cleaning up the whole thing for you. So you can, right now, if you type in, insurance planning, you'll get Carlos Villalobos and probably 34 videos. In fact, he's coming up on our show later today. So, but we have Megan's mom.
Yeah.
All right. We have Kim Siebe with Keller Williams VIP Properties here to share with us more about how she's successfully helping buyers right now, because a lot of real estate agents don't really, their expertise isn't buyers, or they don't like them, or they don't work with them. And right now, I think buyers need somebody who really cares about them, asks the right questions, and helps them with one of the best markets we've seen. Now again, it's purchasing power increased dramatically just since September.
Yeah, it's increased significantly. Actually, we're seeing such a significant decrease in interest rates. That's where you're seeing the increase in affordability. So even though prices have risen a little bit, they've stalled, and you could actually maybe get a seller's credit or a little negotiation on price. So Kim's going to tell us more about that today. How you doing, Kim?
Good, thanks. Hi, thanks for having me here. It's
right.
awesome to be here with you guys.
Kim Siebe with Keller Williams VIP Properties in the house. Thank you for joining us today.
Thanks for having me.
So today we're going to get your experience with working with buyers. I know you work with sellers, of course, as any agent will, without a doubt. But we like that you specialize in buyers, because a lot of you out there, I guarantee you go, well, I should just go with the top real estate agent. That's what I should do. But the problem is, the top real estate agent is really a listing agent. Their goal is to get as many listings as possible, and you'll even hear from them right there, say, Furman didn't turn off a stun gun. But a lot of them don't even like working with buyers. They don't have time for buyers. They only like buyers when they can double in their own properties. And therefore, the listing agent has a lot of properties. What homes are they going to try to sell their buyers? Oh, their property, even though it might not be the right property, right?
Yep. Absolutely, you're correct. I started in property management, and so that, I think, really funded my love for buyers. I loved helping tenants find houses. It's hard to do.
That.
It's not, it's not easy, and you work with tons of different a variety of people. You work with happy people, grumpy people, so that
you have to educate them that they need to look into other options.
Absolutely.
Don't rent forever.
Yes.
Because they're comfortable. It's the way to go. They think they have to have 20% down. They have to have 720 FICO scores, when they're like, no, if you're a vet, it's 0 down. If you can get it for 3% or 3.5% down, you can get a gift. Your credit doesn't have to be perfect.
It's called the rent trap for a reason, because the longer you stay in it, the more trapped you are. It's harder and harder to get out.
And that's what really prompted my wanting to, move forward and, get my license and utilize that to help people actually buy their house. Because people who rent are super excited to find that perfect house for them, but people who buy are so excited to get that perfect first home. And you're right, the vet program is amazing. I do have a really good Heroes program that I offer 20% back to military, fire, law enforcement, and teachers and first responders, and it's a great program. And I
Cool.
love, I
That's your
love
choice
working with
then,
them.
because
That's my choice.
That
yeah.
is really cool, because we've had thousands of real estate agents on our show. Very rarely do they give back.
Well, very rarely do they participate or create their own program.
Right.
But we've had a couple that are participating in nationwide programs
Yes.
and things like that because
Yeah.
that helps them get leads from those programs.
Right.
It's an advertising mechanism. But I love that you're creating your own program just out of the goodness of your heart, saying, this is how I'm going to give back.
And I love it. And it's imperative to know that people in the military, when they move, they need something fast. They need to get their whole family moved. And a lot of times you're only working with one of the spouses, right? One of them's in the military, they're busy, they have to do. So you really need to come up alongside of them and help them with every aspect of the purchase. And sometimes it's hard when your spouse works all the time and you don't have their input, or you need to come up and, put your arm around that spouse and really help them through and guide them. And
That's where care would even be more important, because one person's, they're going to do their best on behalf of both spouses.
Yep.
But there's a lot of questions maybe they don't know to ask or whatever. It's good that you care enough to really guide them down the path and provide them real communication and information so that both parties are privy to what their options are and informed, and not just push into a home.
yeah, and I love that. I have a heart for people, so I like to do that.
No, that's great. I mean, I'm thinking about, you're basically being their sounding board and helping them make the decisions that they maybe would have a really hard time making on their own, and helping them take that next step that maybe they wouldn't take if they were on their own.
Yeah.
So tell me, we talked a little bit about that program. How do we get the word out? I mean, are we going to share this? Can we share this with first responders and
Absolutely.
ER
Yeah,
and people, hospitals
definitely.
as well, people that are in the nursing field?
Yep,
Okay,
absolutely.
that's great.
Absolutely, yeah. Yep.
So you got firemen, police, first responders, nurses, teachers,
And veterans.
and veterans.
And veterans.
Did we cover
Yep.
that pretty well?
Yep, we did. We
Awesome.
covered it really
Okay.
well.
It's really cool.
Yeah.
I have someone in my family in almost all those areas. My son's in the military, my father was in the military and a fireman, and then my upcoming new daughter-in-law is a police officer down in Irvine.
I hope
Yeah.
I never have to meet her.
I know, but it's so nice to feel so protected and safe, right?
At least unless it's one of our parties or something.
Yeah,
Totally.
exactly.
Not on the road.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the other thing I'm thinking about is, and as a former agent myself, I was actually more of a buyer's agent as well. I remember my first listing, or my second list, I think it was my second or third listing, actually pretty much put me out of the business. I was a buyer's agent for years. I just liked working with buyers. It was great. We had a buyer's team. They had their own individual listings. I would help them with contracts and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
We had a nightmare listing, and I think that was kind of the last straw. And I was like, that's it, 100% lending, because we used to do both. I used to do both.
It talked you out of
It
it.
talked me out of it, but it needed to have that one really bad experience on a listing to push me
Yeah.
out of it. But you're right, it is gratifying to help buyers find their home. And we were talking about listing agents. A listing agent, the reason they say they're listing agents, the reason they focus on that is they could carry 100 listings with a very small staff. You can't work with 100 buyers. It's very difficult.
Right. No, you can't.
So how many, I mean, you really got to dedicate attention, and they got to shop for how long? What would you say the typical incubation period is for a buyer?
Well, it depends on the buyer. It depends on what's on the market. Right now we've got 632 houses on the market,
Total.
80 total, 80 of which are in the Acton, Agua Dulce area. So, subtract that, and that's what we've got in Santa Clarita.
Believe it or not,
So
that's not that bad. We've done the show long enough to know
know.
that we got down to 300 or like
Right.
288.
This
Yeah,
time
so don't
last
panic out
year,
there.
yeah.
There's actually some and more inventory is coming.
Yeah.
And
This is
more
spring.
inventory is coming. Yep,
A lot of inventory.
absolutely.
So having a buyer's agent that's dedicated to the buyer,
Mm-hmm.
meaning and help them find a home versus just trying to sell their own homes, is good, because you're going to be watching all the time for new inventory to come up for them to find the right
Absolutely.
home. Which is imperative, because the key is, I liked when we were talking before the show, is that you like asking a lot of the questions. Find out what their agenda is as opposed to yours, and find out what's important. Because there's that saying, buyers are liars. I don't believe so. A buyer wants to get into a home. The agents that say buyers are liars are the ones who didn't ask the right questions.
Right.
And therefore, when they didn't show them the right home, or the buyer said, I don't want to live there, schools are too important to me. I don't want to be that far from the freeway, or whatever it is. They weren't lying. They just weren't asked the right questions, right?
Yeah, exactly. You have to ask the right questions. And you have to spend time. You have to spend time. You have to listen. And you need to get to know somebody. It's really difficult to have somebody call you and say, hey, I want to see this house. I can run out and show the house. Now that I've shown you this house, can we take some time and talk about what you're really looking for? What's ideal for you? How many bedrooms? You know, the schools, the freeway, all that's very important. So yeah, you do need to listen and find out what they really want and what they really desire. Sometimes it's not on the market for a while, but right now, like we talked about before, interest rates are down, which is amazing, and there's so many programs out there for new buyers.
Yeah, like 300
It's
programs.
ridiculous.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
lending standards are loosening, so it is
Yep.
becoming easier to buy a home. Is it easy? Is it stated income? Is it crazy like before? No, nothing
Yeah,
like
don't
that.
panic. We don't want to panic you out there.
Yeah.
Nothing like that yet. We'll keep an eye on that for you. But it is a lot easier than it was, say, 4 or 5 years ago. For
Definitely.
Sure.
I think people get into a comfort zone. When you're renting, it's a comfort zone for sure. You don't have to do anything to the house. Somebody else takes care of it. So I do have about 5 renters right now that I'm working towards getting them into houses.
Nice.
And so they're nervous, but they just need somebody to come up alongside them, put your arm around them, and guide them through the process.
And if
Well,
they-
are,
if they
is it
looked at the
imperative
financial-
working with a good lender that does it, or because a lot
Yes.
of these guys, if they just went online and they called or went online, they're not going to get real advice.
They're not going to.
I
No.
mean, they might not have the programs, the experience. They're probably only getting paid to answer the phone.
They might get a rate.
Yeah, they'll
It's
get
easy
a
to
low
spit
rate.
a rate.
Yeah,
It
they'll
is.
spit a rate, but there's, I mean, perfect example. You see all those things with Rocket Mortgage, and they throw it out there. Ooh, the easy way. Just go on your app. It's super easy. You know, only 7% of those people that apply get approved.
Yeah.
That is
7%.
such a
Yeah,
low number.
it's so
The rest
crazy.
are not going to get that pretty rate that's all promised, and maybe it's
Right.
the wrong program. Maybe they're handling the mortgage insurance wrong. Maybe they don't tell them that you can get a gift. Maybe they don't have FHA. They might not even have it. A lot of lenders don't even have it.
That's true.
Yeah.
So
And a
they're
lot
gonna-
don't know how to work with veterans at all. They have
Right.
no idea. They're like,
They
well,
don't
it's not
want
a good
to.
loan. Yeah, you don't want that.
Yeah, when
like,
it's the best
Exactly.
loan in the world.
Yeah.
Is one of the
Yeah,
best.
you need a lender who's going to do all the work, who's going to do the hard work and, put the footwork in, for
Most
sure.
importantly for renters, I think, right now is to really look at a rent versus own analysis and look at a net worth differential. I mean, that's what we've been focused on for years. And
The numbers don't lie.
oh my
Yeah.
God, it's unbelievable. And as Barry Habib told us the other day at our Momentum Builder event, it's like most people take for granted the appreciation portion, the
A principal reduction.
principal reduction
Yes.
portion. It is a forced savings account, as we say for
Absolutely.
many. So would you have really saved that $70,000 if you were renting?
No.
No way.
No.
No way.
Well,
Ask
we,
any
we,
renter.
At all.
we show the difference in just one report we just did, where I think if you're paying $2,600 or $2,800 a month in rent, that in 5 years it's $160-something thousand dollars, versus gaining, and we still have appreciation. We will have appreciation, we believe, for quite some time. Even over time, there's always appreciation. We're just saying the next 5 years. The difference is you put in $165,000 away for rent versus gaining $150,000 to $200,000 in equity, meaning equity principal reduction. That gains your net worth. So we always tell people a homeowner's net worth is usually 46 times greater than a renter.
Yeah.
Yes, and it ranged. I actually did a
amazing.
little research on that. Depending on the cycle or the segment of the cycle you're on, it ranges between 31 and 46 times greater, and the average renter only has $5,000 to $8,000 in savings. So if you think about that, you need down payment assistance programs. They are
Yeah.
available today. They're fantastic. Fannie, Freddie. Everybody has a large government push towards affordable housing, so housing is becoming more affordable.
All right.
Definitely.
So you ready to go help some buyers out there?
I'm ready. Yep.
So those of you out here who are looking to buy a home or want to find out about buying a home, find what the steps are to buy a home, I know Kim Siebe will
Yep.
be glad to help out. And it's imperative you work with a buyer's agent.
Definitely.
Don't just basically pull up the biggest name you see or who you see advertising. Go to somebody who's sweet, nice, and cares.
Thank you.
And that's you.
And if you're a first responder or any of those things we named earlier in the show, oh my God, 20% back. Use it towards your closing costs.
How do they get a
That's
hold
exactly
of
how they go. 661-645-6808. And then my website is www.aheartforheroes.com.
you? A Heart for Heroes?
A Heart for Heroes.
Oh, that's
Nice.
cool. Very nice. Nicely done.
Thank you.
Well, we really appreciate those that give back,
Yes.
really care, and do a great job and super sweet. And I know that's who we send our buyers to, is people just like you, Kim, that enjoy helping our buyers out, and we'll be glad to team up with you and make sure that they get the great service they deserve.
Perfect. Thank you guys so much.
Awesome.
right.
Thank you for being with us.
Again,
Yeah.
reach out to Kim Siebe. You'll be glad you did. Stay tuned. We have a couple more segments of the show, but thank you for being part of the Don and Gino Real Estate and Finance Show. You can find out more at donandgino.com.